welcome to the show.
There's fire for me waiting in the chat.
Did it play again?
Oh no.
No, I'm saying there's people leaving fire for me.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's the Greek phalanx. People are setting the chat on fire. That's the thing they do. Hi, phalanx.
Yeah. They must sacrifice to Mother Dragon before the show.
So the Greek phalanx is the Discord rating group that we have. They're the people that were calling you Hippy Daddy, hence the nickname in the description. Welcome to the show, by the way, Neil. You basically were one of the first people to volunteer when you found out about the whole thing with like Ocean and the first stream going taken down. You sent a message of when am I going to be on the show, and I was like, "Hi, let's get you scheduled." And I was already like scheduling that far out.
well, I'm here now. Well, somebody likes my shirt. There you go. Yes, the Yin Yang Rebel.
You've got a great T-shirt collection.
Oh
yeah, you really do.
You guys have only seen the tip of the iceberg. There's some in the drawer over there that I haven't worn in like a year.
Like I just want to fly up there to read your closet. Although I've been watching simulated air disasters on YouTube lately, and I don't think I'm gonna get on a plane for a while. Like,
so if there are any folks in the banking community that somehow have magically not heard of you, do you want to talk a little bit about what you do before we start getting into the main bit of the show?
What do I do? Well, I have a channel where I talk to people about their journeys away from whatever belief systems they were once involved with, whether it be religious or I have plans to, and I still have to talk to her, but she was an ex-guru in like the crystal healing and all that other crap. And she finally found her way clear of that nonsense and is now an advocate against all that sort of thing. So I was going to have her on the show, and her name escapes me right now.
Are we still forgetting the name on this?
And I haven't been able to fucking remember it.
You guys should also know that Neil threatens people on his show with that walking staff behind him.
Oh, with that one?
Mm-hmm.
That one? That's from a cactus, actually. That's what do you call it?
So there's more than one. There's more than one that you're now threatening people.
Oh, there's another one there. Which actually, 1 second. You see, my headphones no longer have cables, so I can move around freely.
Upgraded. Adam, hold on. I want to address Adam Skeptic. I know that planes are safe, but I have been watching things like midair collisions and failed takeoffs that were simulated. This has been my new rabbit hole, and I'm like, no. I'm like, no. If there's enough to have 4 YouTube channels full of content that I've come across, I don't know if I with at least 500,000 subscribers, I don't know if I want to do this.
Anyway, so this is the one that I got at Lauren Lake here in BC when I was fishing one year, and I used this stick to scare away a gigantic fucking black bear that was stalking me. And my sister got a hold of it, and she put some shellac and stuff on it, and all these little stones and crystals and shark teeth and wolf teeth and stuff like that in there, and a little dragon, and she put a piece of quartz on top. So it was my my wizard staff, as I call it there now.
We've got Rilla burning some fluffy bunnies in the chat.
Yes, burn those bitches.
I like rabbit. Rabbit's good.
No,
anyway.
The fluffy bunnies are the ones that are like vagina.
Like, oh my god, my crystals. Oh my god, my crystals can cure cancer.
Like, oh my god.
No.
So I totally squirted all over my jade egg, and now it's gonna cure autism.
And then
okay, Jen, be good.
Blah blah blah.
No.
By the way, where are my F-bomb counters?
Work.
Do I have my F-bomb counters in the chat yet?
Did I start? I say fuck.
I don't see it. Okay, there's one.
I say it and don't even realize I'm saying it, which is why I was a lot of fun at church. Well, I was
instead of thank you, Jesus, we got a fuck you, Jesus.
No, I mean I was fun at church when I hooked up with my ex-boyfriend on the altar. That was fun.
Ooh.
Right before confirmation class.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. I saw the Lord that day. That's for damn.
Just a heads up, I've already had a few beers and I haven't eaten since 9:30 this morning. So
I wore the perfect shirt.
You're in for the treat. I did.
Oh my god.
If anyone can't tell, Neil and I are like fucking awesome together. We actually joke, and like every time I'm in his after parties, I maintain the room. So I'm the online wife and he's the online husband.
Speaking of which, I'm actually going to be on Neil's channel next month. I'm pretty excited about that. We finally got it scheduled after half a year of trying.
And after, I think, a month and a half of Jen nagging the crap out of me to get it done.
I was like,
Jen is the best waifu.
What is wrong with you?
The fuck?
Get her on the show.
I stared in check your damn Twitter DMs, and that's what got you.
Hold on. There it goes. Okay.
All right. So, I am going to ask you the opening question that I ask every single guest on this show, which is, what does allyship mean to you?
What does allyship mean to me?
What does allyship mean to you?
Think.
Allyship, for me, I mean, especially being an ex-pagan myself, because I went, my story's kind of all fucked up. I was born to Christians, given up for adoption, raised by Jews, because, you know, that was part of God's plan to have me in the religion that doesn't believe in Jesus. And then anyways, I kind of never really had a belief, although I'd catch myself from time to time talking to God or whatever. And then I'm like, this is bullshit. And I got out of it, and I got into Wicca, and I got into Druidism for a while, and I got into paganism. And so I already have like a very close connection with pagans because I was once one. So I understand the thought processes. I understand. Hi, Callan. I understand all the stuff involved, right? Although recently, running into some pagans, I've learned a bunch of stuff about paganism, things that I never knew about. So it's always good, and I always like learning because learning, you know, makes you smarter. So, well, most of the time, unless you're learning wrong shit, then it's not such a good thing.
Unless you're learning fluffy bunny shit, then
Jim Barrows is
Jim.
Attaboy.
Wait, I have to ask. You're like, you came across some pagans. You're not talking about the TikTok witches, are you? That are
no.
Okay.
People like Callan, for example, who's in the chat.
No, I just had to check.
has informed me of things that I never knew. So I always appreciate learning new things about stuff.
You and I had some fun conversations about paganism before that after party that I did back on your channel, back in the days of the channel that shall not be named.
You know, we're trying to be nice tonight. Don't make me pull my boobs out to distract people and diffuse people. Don't make me do it.
Behave badly, guys. Anywho, so allyship to me is, because let's face it, pagans don't run around knocking on people's doors going, have you heard the good word about Thor or Hecate or whatever, right? They don't do that shit, right? So they're not running around pushing their beliefs on. Like I never did either, as a pagan or Wiccan or whatever. So
we tend to be called to our faith, and we expect that most others who come to our faiths are usually called to our faith, or they discover it on their own. Like we don't usually have to proselytize because people just, as Ocean put it in his coming out video, like his out of the broom closet videos, we seem to grow up from the ground, whether, you know, we try to convert people or not.
Right. Exactly. And that's one of the things that I was always appreciative about the broad spectrum of pagan beliefs is they don't do that. So, however, we can work together against people that push their horseshit beliefs on others and the types of beliefs that can inflict harm on people. So, if we stand together united, I think we'd make a much stronger front against people who try to push beliefs that could cause harm on others. So that's why I'm all for allyship and consider myself an ally, not just to the pagan community, but to the other marginalized groups. Not that pagans are really all that marginalized, but there are people within these communities that are.
I mean,
right?
We kind of are, though. Like, we did a coming out in anti-theist spaces where we even talked about, like, we get it from both the Christians and from the anti-theist branch of atheists. Like, we get fired from our jobs. People have lost kids. Like, I have a family member who's being harassed by Child Protective Services in part.
Bullshit.
Yeah, like, there are people who are afraid to come out as pagan because we face the same kind of discrimination that other marginalized groups do. People assume we're devil worshippers. I've lost a job over being pagan and wearing a symbol of my religion to work back when I still had a regular job. That's not what they put on the firing slip, but it's the conversation I had with my boss.
All about what state you live in. If it's a right to work state, they can come up with anything.
And my state's not a right to work state, but it was not a union job. And unfortunately, because of that, there is a rule that basically means they can fire you for the color of your eyes, so to speak, even though religious belief is protected. Again, the conversation I had with my boss was different than what was on the firing slip. And unfortunately, you can't prove the conversation you had with your boss unless they consent to recording it, because it's a two-party consent state as well.
Yeah, but you see, the thing with atheists is, sure, I think we're even more marginalized because they put us in the same category, or not so much they put us in the same category, but I've read an article recently where believers of whatever stripe say they would trust a pedophile over an atheist.
It's a little different though, because and this is from what I've gathered, especially from Christians. Atheists, they still, atheists, they just feel that they're lost. They've lost the faith in God, and they're missing the love from God, and they can be saved. Pagans, they're like, oh no, you love Satan. You're beyond redeemable. We
worship demons.
We can't even come near you.
Sometimes.
We can't even come near you because you're gonna possess us or some shit.
Well, the argument there, though, is that most Christians, in my experience, and these are the evangelical ones that I'm talking about, in the same way that when I say, atheists of the anti-theist stripe, this is what I'm talking about.
Because we have some evangelical atheists. We do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we do.
Straight up
epistemology. Especially people that are fresh into it. They go through that angry stage. Well, many of them do. I can't say all of them do, because I never did. Really.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But there's more, it could be argued that it's harder for Christians to conceptualize not believing in anything. So they lump you guys in with us more than, it's specifically that atheists themselves are evil.
Right, they call us heathens as well.
Yeah, they lump you guys in with us, which is why they hate you, versus we get it from the anti-theist sect of you guys and from the Christians. So we get it from pretty much everybody that's not us.
I actually had that when I came out to my extended family. My aunt was like, so you worship Satan? I'm like, no, I don't think Satan exists. And she couldn't wrap her head around that. She was like, so you don't believe in anything? I'm like,
I believe in lots of stuff.
I'm like, I believe that I'm breathing air right now. I mean, there's a lot of things to believe in.
I believe I'm going to have another beer.
But she couldn't wrap her head around the fact that I didn't think there was anything higher than me.
Well, and I want to give you an example, Neil, of something that happened. Well, and I want to give you an example of something that happened with an anti-theist recently, because Jen heard all about this because I called her in and she was tired. But there was
I'm always tired. Do I know this one? Can I go tear a strip off this fucker or what?
I don't know. I think they're kind of a nobody, but the length they went to come in and use anti-medical terminology to fuck with me was ridiculous. Here's my F-bomb counter for this stream. So this guy on Twitter decided to go after me and a bunch of other pagans when we had gotten into an argument with an anti-theist who was saying that from now on, even though they're an atheist, they're going to say that they worship Zeus and the other Greek gods because they want to show how ridiculous that is to Christians. And so that person, I actually got into an argument with them, and we ended up resolving it by deciding we had more in common than we didn't, which is what happens when people engage in good faith. But the other motherfucker, the one who ended up deciding to start shit, started to do street epistemology shit, which anybody who talks to a pagan who's anywhere versed in philosophy, that shit don't work on us.
Who's anywhere versed in the actual Socratic method. Doesn't even have to be.
Yeah, I turned questions on him and he didn't like it. But he got so toxic and using medical terminology like delusional and stuff like that, hallucinations, started talking about imaginary friends and garage dragons and, quoting that Dillahunty completely out of context without any
dragon in my garage, the Carl Sagan thing. Yes.
Yeah. So he did all of that stuff. And then he started calling me delusional and psychotic and other things. And so I blocked him. Well, this fucker just, yep. This fucker decided to dig a thread up from 2 weeks before and harass my friends, a bunch of them, including Jen and Ocean and a number of other people.
A bad idea.
Just to try to get back at me, even though I had blocked him. And it got so far that he ended up coming into my Discord just to call me delusional to my face.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, these are the people, unfortunately, that you can't build bridges with.
No.
Because they're not
Yeah. But like when I talk about pagans get it from both sides, like this is an extreme example, but this is the kind of stuff that I also used to deal with from certain not so nice fans on the old channel that I used to work on that shall not be named on this show. Like I got baptized. I got baptized in anti-theist troll fire in this community because of how I came into it. But like Ocean and I and other pagans, we get this stuff all the time. Like if you go to Callan's Twitter, you can see it gets set on every fire by anti-theists because she criticizes the atheist community, which I occasionally do too. And I've gotten pushback from polytheists actually for building bridges with atheists, which is shocked Jen when she saw it for the first time. Like she didn't believe us that polytheists didn't want to build bridges, but a lot of polytheists in my community, like outside of my Discord server and the fan base that watches this show, think that I'm crazy for trying to build bridges with atheists because of this kind of behavior, because people have gone so far to hurt us.
Not all of us are like that though.
Right.
And I can't understand that. I can't understand somebody going to Callan's page and ripping into her like that because Callan's a beautiful human being. I don't understand how the fuck anyone could want to treat somebody like Callan that way.
Callan's Twitter is a battle in.
I know.
We're gonna light Callan's Twitter on fire. Let's see if Jen can make a bigger one. Because once I see it, I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh,
now you're attacking my friends.
We're gonna play with matches. Now we're playing with dragons. Okay.
Yeah, God's forbid anybody harasses me on my Twitter ever. Like Jen is on that shit. She is protective mother dragon. Good God.
Like the tone goes off. I get up,
Fuck
have
matches.
coffee, and
I got a fucking Zippo. It's like a portable campfire.
I need a new Zippo.
Mine's got a skull.
I never. Yeah. I always buy them and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna refill them and fucking.
But again, like I'm not trusting all of atheism when I talk about this though. Like what I'm talking about specifically is I see there's three camps in the atheist community, but the third camp nobody cares about because nobody hears from them. Those are the live and let live atheists who just quietly live their lives and don't give a fuck one way or the other.
Yeah, we don't hear about those.
Yeah, those atheists are the one that we very rarely hear from. But like you've got, in terms of the politically active atheists, you've got two camps. You have the anti-theist camp that think religion itself is inherently harmful and want to eradicate it from the earth. And those people are more likely to be the abusive, nasty sorts that you see on Twitter. And then you see the anti-harm camp, which is where I would put you and Jen, which are people who are anti the harm religion can do, but don't otherwise think that it needs to be eradicated and won't attack believers who are not trying to cause any problems for them.
No, I don't believe in prosecuting thought crimes.
That's right.
I don't believe in prosecuting thoughts and emotions.
Then you're just like Yahweh if you do that. Right? but the thing is, though pretty much all religions can have some harmful aspects to them, most people don't push those on other people. Whereas the big ones, the ones that are followed by billions of people, have very harmful doctrines within their scriptures, and they do exercise that shit. They want to. They don't want any members of the GSRM or LGBTQIA plus community around. They want these people eradicated, basically, without, that might be a little extreme, but many of them feel that way.
No, we've seen some
many
that
of them
have straight out called for it, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And that's the kind of shit that I fight against. And I will fight holding fucking hands with some of my pagan brothers and sisters to do just that. And that's why I think these bridges need to be built.
Well, and I agree as well, because we have, and I'm not saying all of Christians are like this, because, for example, I have a very good friend on the server who's Episcopalian. She's going to be on this show in a couple of weeks. She's not very well known in the community yet, but people need to get to know her. Maddie is fucking boss.
She will be.
She will be. And Episcopalians have a tendency. but Episcopalians tend to be, either henotheistic or they tend to be monolatrists, where they're like, either agnostic that other gods exist, or they think other gods exist and they just worship the one, which is like my experience of her and others that I've met. And then there are Quakers, which are very live and let live and not very converty. So, I mean, there are progressive Christians and there are Christian sects. Unitarian Universalists describe themselves often as Christians as well.
UUs are weird. UUs are like everything and nothing in one.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
That is the best way to describe a Unitarian Universalist. They're like, they believe in everything and nothing all at the same time. Because I wandered into the UU area on my way to atheism, and I was like, I don't entirely know what's going on here, but you guys get Taco Bell every Sunday. So, me.
I could be convinced.
So, UUs are weird like that. But they're definitely the Unitarian Universalists are probably the most easy to get along with in the Christian area that I can think of.
Well, them and again, some Episcopalians, because they're like a lot of the Episcopalians, they think very differently than a lot of other Christian sects do. Like even trying to describe the concept of sin when you're talking to an Episcopalian, or like, most Episcopalians that I've met are also very pro-science. So like there's even bridges to be built within that community. And we're going to be having the very first Christian on the show again in about 3 weeks. And we're pretty excited for it because she's a brilliant human being and also like working on her doctorate in freaking environmental science, specifically dealing with like the Antarctic ice shelf. So like she's got a lot to say about a lot of things, and allyship is especially important for stuff like that because you have the evangelicals, like especially fundy evangelicals, that don't think that global warming is a problem because the rapture is going to happen at some point.
It's funny. I actually attribute some of my atheism. I actually attribute some of my atheism to Episcopalians. The man that stepped up as the father role in my life was Episcopalian. And like you said, they're kind of like super lax. They're like pro-science. And, and then I had this question everything mother. And I'm like, you wonder why? Like, why? But what I found funny was that when I made my confirmation, I wanted to have him as my sponsor. And the Catholic Church wouldn't allow him because he was Episcopalian and they don't think Episcopalians take God as seriously.
Oh.
They wouldn't allow him because they were like, I'm sorry, he's what? No.
Don't all of the Christian denominations pretty much think the other ones aren't taking it seriously?
Catholics particularly don't like Episcopalians.
Or
there's a specific there's a specific spotlight on Episcopalians.
What about Protestants? Catholics and Protestants.
Okay, outside of Ireland, it's Episcopalian.
All right, fair enough.
Yes, Sam Chaos, that is Science Side Up, is who I'm talking about. Maddie is at Excellent People. I keep shilling for her because science YouTube channels have such a hard time like finding followers, and she hasn't been part of the larger community very much. So like, we're trying to help. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's done a couple of guest spots talking about scientific stuff, but she has a brilliant fucking mind. She really is.
And I wanted to correct, not outside of Ireland, outside of Northern Ireland.
Heracles actually asks an interesting question on the topic of allyship. For Jen and Neil specifically, what are your thoughts on atheists who call themselves heathens? Because a lot of heathens in the pagan community have some feels about that.
No.
I know, because they feel like we're appropriating some sort of cultural thing.
Mm-hmm. No, not a cultural thing. Like,
well, hold on, because even Christians were considered heathens at some point by the Romans. So
the Romans were not the ones who coined that term. Heathen was actually a term that particularly Norse and Anglo-Saxons used for each other.
Right, and I didn't say the Romans, but they considered Christians to be atheistic and heathens as well.
They considered them pagans, paganus.
Well, okay. Either or. See, I've heard many people talk about this, and multiple times I've heard them throw out the word heathen or pagan or just not real.
Philippe Gabriel makes
humans.
a good point on that.
But anyway, I've called myself a heathen before, but that was more so when I was actually a pagan. So there's that. What's the? I mean, okay. I hate this. Like, what's the definition of heathen, right? But of course, words have usages. Words are intrinsic, so they can change over time. Words can change over time. So I don't think. I personally don't think it's a big deal, but I understand that it might bruise someone's core if they're actual heathens and they feel that it shouldn't be used in any other method. But
well, heathen was it was a term that, if I recall correctly, could be the Norse, but one of my heathen followers, I'm sure, could potentially let me know if I'm wrong here. If you guys in the live chat want to correct me, but it's a term in Norse that specifically denoted people of the same belief structure who lived out in the countryside. It was what they used to refer to each other. And eventually Christians started using it as a pejorative against those believers and persecuted them for it, which is how it eventually got the connotations with atheism, because it was used as a pejorative against any pagan practicer by Christians in that area, in the same way that pagan eventually became a pejorative rather than just somebody out in the countryside, which is what it meant in Latin. It eventually became a pejorative that meant somebody who is not a Christian.
Right. Yes. And I think that's where it got picked up.
Just stop fucking doing it. Stop.
Does this just mean I have to give up my t-shirt that says heathen on it?
I mean,
get another t-shirt. You have plenty.
I mean, why don't you talk?
How do you know I'm not wearing it how do you know I'm not wearing it? Because I mean, let's put it this way. I was once a heathen. So it's like a tribute to my past, just like why I still wear this ring here with the star on it. Okay.
Yeah, Adam Skeptic, if you have never been a Norse believer, generally it is best to not refer to yourself as a heathen if you want to be an ally with heathens, because a lot of the heathens do have very strong feelings on that. And, again, there is a debate in the community about it, but for the most part, most Norse worshippers tend to dislike when atheists use that term, because it also makes it harder for them to find each other.
So here's the thing. We can get into this argument.
Sure would do that, but
we can get into this argument about language, right? We have many words that at one point, even in the Oxford Dictionary, and I'm not going to say the word, even in the Oxford Dictionary, meant something very, very different than what culture and people have adapted it to. We are now in a time.
Oh, we're talking about drama now. Jen is now setting the chat on fire. Press F to pay respects for the calmness of the stream.
We are now in a time where heathens are taking that word to describe their faith. It doesn't matter what somebody from fucking 1400 decided to apply the term to in order to group people the fuck in. No, we have a group of people who are using it to describe their faith. You wouldn't turn around and use the N-word now and say, but it means lazy and shiftless. You wouldn't. Right. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't use the F word, F3, FA, blah, to describe a cigarette in the United States. You wouldn't do that. So don't fucking sit here and say, but that's what the word meant back then, especially if you pride yourself on fighting for the rights of fucking marginalized people and then being like, but because I want to use this word, I'm going to use, no, fuck you, shut up. There is a literal religious group of people that are using this word to identify themselves and their beliefs, that most fucking atheists are now deciding to turn around and say that they're quadruply fucking delusional because they believe in how many more gods. So not only are you going to mock the beliefs that they've labeled themselves for, but then use the fucking label. That is the ultimate disrespectful slap in the fucking face.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
Period.
Let's put it this way. Every once in a while, I like to behave like a heathen. So there you go.
I could, I'm not going to say, I was going to say, I could see Neil going back to paganism.
Well,
I could see.
See,
dude, Jen, you were just spouting this stuff so fast that they're having a hard time keeping up with you.
It's this fucking loaded, it's the sweet tea. It makes me.
That sweet tea better be spiked with something.
No, that's
by the way, we're about.
Later.
We're about 30 minutes in. This is the shill time. We got 40 people chilling in the live chat currently. We've only got 21 likes. Hit the like or the dislike button depending on how you're feeling about the stream. But try to give us a little bit of love in the algorithm. I'm not monetized or anything, so YouTube isn't exactly.
My nipples are almost out. We can get more fucking likes than just half the people sitting here. Goddamn it! Okay. Shit.
Hey, Leia.
Hit that like, and I promise I won't show you my nipples.
I'm just saying, Neil's got some pretty nipples, y'all. I mean,
oh my god!
To an
All
after
right,
party.
so we're already on the boob train to Mammary Land. Like that's just that's how far we've gone already.
So are mine man Marie's?
Oh god, that's some punishment.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, dad jokes from a guy who's not actually a dad, I guess. But
oh, you're everybody. You are Hippy Daddy.
I know. I'm Hippy Daddy, Viking, biker, pirate. Yeah, I got it all.
Yeah. So what would you say in terms of what you see in allyship in the community? What would you say one of the most pressing issues that is kind of preventing that, like those bridges from being built on either side? Like you can comment on both sides is right now. Like what would you say the most difficult barrier between bridge building and coalition building is currently in the community?
It's exactly the type of people we were talking about earlier. Okay. It's the people that are fucking assholes about it. And they seem to not just be, they want to be like a wedge in this sort of shit because they're afraid of atheists like myself and Jen who are building bridges with pagans or heathens or other believers like yourself. So,
yep, I'm a Hellenist. I've got some Celtic recons and some Ecumenics in the chat now too.
I have Celtic roots as well. So, those are the people that are doing their best to try and keep something like that from happening. But of course, we're not going to let that happen. We're going to build the fucking bridges, whether or not they like it. Right. It's and they can go cry all they want. Right. But if they want to try and tear things down rather than build things up, then they're already off on the wrong foot.
Well, and that's part of why I started the show, right? Like I wanted to really illustrate folks that are trying to build bridges. And I really wanted to illustrate just how important that is in the community, but also showcase the folks who are doing that. Like we have a couple of guests coming down the line that Jen and I have been talking about that have been trying to build coalitions on specific pet causes. We had Ocean and Surus on who were like the OG bridge builders as far as the pagan and atheist communities on YouTube are concerned. Like as our first guests after the whole takedown happened on the first stream. And we also had Shay and Callan from Transgarters who are also like incredible bridge builders when it comes to trans rights.
Can I just break in a second here? I shot a message over to the private chat that is.
I saw. Okay. The answer is if you want to.
Wonderful, because I think this isn't a good time to educate. Joan, I don't give a shit if people count my F-bombs. I understand that this is a jab at something that I said to you last night. You are consistently making comments about me talking about my own body and other people referencing it.
It's your body, you can do that.
You then attempted to police it on another show when my breast were referenced by someone else.
It wasn't Joan. It was Julie.
Julie. I'm sorry, not Joan. Joan. It was Julie.
Yeah, Joan is...
Joan, I fucking love you. I know who you are, Joan. I fucking love you.
Wait. Which Julie?
Julie LaVoice.
Oh.
Do not come here, especially on a platform that I'm on, to try to take jabs about what the fuck I want. I am not going to sit here and allow you.
Julie says she was kidding.
I don't know. You said this last night too. And it's been jab after jab after jab. And every time you're called out, all of a sudden you're kidding. I am not going to sit here and allow someone to tell me when I could speak about my own body, when I allow other people to speak about my own body. And I'm not going to sit here and allow, especially another goddamn woman, to shame it. I'm also not going to sit here and allow you to make jokes about my language on things that I've already given consent for, nor am I going to sit here and giggle off when you say that you're kidding.
Julie says that she wasn't there last night, so it might have been Joan who made comments about the body thing and Julie who's making comments about the F-bombs this time. It may have been separate.
Still, it's now tied into that same thing.
This is a boundary being drawn for the chat as a whole at this point.
It's now a chat as a
She
whole.
just said not to count your F-bombs, that's all.
No.
Yeah, and that's a running joke.
Like it. She may not like it, was what it was. And I did make a comment last night when somebody had tried to stop me, that they had referenced the mammary chain. And I was like, oh, here we go. We're talking about my boobs. And then Jen, don't. So no, I'm not going to sit here and have shit policed on me. I'm not.
No, you shouldn't.
I'm not.
Okay, and again, like, I don't actually think that was Julie. Julie was not in the stream that night. So this is just a boundary being drawn. As far as the F-bomb counter, that's actually a running joke on this show. It started back on the Christy Abbey episode, as many of them did. So for folks who are concerned about it, this is an actual thing that happened. But Julie, you're welcome to be here. Like, this is just a boundary being drawn for the chat as a whole. Like, this is not anything personal against you.
Boundary being drawn is for the chat as a whole, and I'm fucking tired of people cracking fucking jokes thinking it's cute when trying to police shit with me. It's happened consistently.
Like you can be policed. Let's be realistic here.
So again, like, Julie, this is nothing personal against you. This was just drawing a boundary with the chat because this has happened on multiple streams with multiple people at this point. So that's all it is. So, okay, Jen, you can go back into happy mode. We're up to 18, by the way. We are, that's actually like half the minutes that we're in. That's, you're doing pretty good.
I call bullshit. I think it's more than that. I think someone's been asleep at the buzzer.
But yeah, so as far as building bridges and coalition building, though, we also have at least, I wouldn't say like Christians, all of Christianity is the enemy per se, but we have a common enemy in evangelical fundies who want to legally police us. And I think that this is something that's really important for us in terms of getting active. Like, Leia brings up the NIFB in the side chat. This comes up almost every stream, but like, that's one of the shiny examples of allyship within the community, right? Is the Pumpkin Saga.
Yo, like, we got together with that shit. Like it was like, what was it? Thundercats with the rings? It was Thundercats, right? That they would touch the rings and then shit would happen. Was it Thundercats? It was like Thundercats happened with that shit. It was
thunder.
Polytheist and atheist and fucking Thundercats go. And you guys were fucking awesome.
Where the fuck's my Thundercats sword?
You still have one?
I know, and it's not even in reach. Like everything else in my room.
I'm going to steal that.
It might be in storage. It's tiny, man. It's like this fucking big. It's for kids.
I had one. I used to torment the living shit out of my cat with it.
Yeah, the thing's like 2.5 feet fucking long or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
And it had the thing where you could stick your eyes, like it was like, and it had the eye holes.
You look through it. Yeah. Yeah. I was an adult when I bought that.
I used to wave it in front of my cat. This cat.
And when I bought all my Transformers too, I was like 20 something.
This cat fucking hated me. It was supposed to be for my birthday gift, and this cat fucking hated me. But I used to sit, and she used to hate things in front of her face, and I just used to like wave it at her, and she used to beat the shit out of it. And that Neil can reach something. Did you take your ibuprofen today, Neil, so that you could reach things? Did you take your ibuprofen today?
Leia says, "Are you sure you're not talking about the Wonder Twins with the rings?"
Maybe it was but the Thundercats did it too.
By the way, I've been reading a couple articles on the Teen Titans TV show, or Titans as they call it. Yes, there was, or was it Titans or
Teen Titans Go is the new one.
No, it was Legends. No. The live action Titans TV show from DC.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's fantastic. But it wasn't Titans, it was Legends.
It was
Legends of Tomorrow. Where there was a brief little glimpse of Gleek, the monkey that belonged to the Wonder Twins in one of the episodes in the Crisis crossover. And now there's talk that they're actually going to be introducing the Wonder Twins into the Legends. Yeah.
No, Leah, the Wonder Twins did it too, but Thundercats did it too. They had rings. And they would scream Thundercat, oh, and they would match the rings, and then like they'd turn into like the Thundercats, and it was fucking awesome. And yeah,
they were always the Thundercats. They would just get more beefy.
Yeah, they'd get beefier. And I don't give a shit when anyone says Lionel was a ripoff of who's the blue guy in X-Men that I can't think of now? What's the
Beast?
The Beast. That was a ripoff. It was a ripoff of the Beast. I don't give a shit. No, not Lionel. They had a blue one. Lionel was the leader guy. He was like the He-Man.
Panther?
Yeah, Captain Planet had rings too.
Captain Planet had rings too?
Well, lots of them had rings, man. Even the Flash has a ring where he keeps his costume and it pops out.
I owned
Right?
like all of those.
Green Lantern has a ring. I know. I have his ring right here.
I wonder what the area
That was in Reach Suite.
Like. I wonder what the area immediately around Neil looks like, because he's always just like grabbing things. And I'm wondering if he just sits in like a circle of just trinkets before each show.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
So, Neil, I'm going to ask you a similar question to one that Jen did on her interview, where the Greek phalanx decided to stare you guys into submission, which, hail to the Greek phalanx that's chilling in the chat. I saw your guys' fire. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. The ritual tonight in the hold was really intense.
How did the ritual go? I'm sorry I missed it. The cat sat next to me and started purring, and I just went to sleep.
It went really, really well. There was a lot of deep emotions that were felt toward the end when we started doing UPG night, and a lot of people said it was beautiful, and a lot of people had never experienced a Hellenic ritual before specifically, and a few of the Hellenists said it was their very first group ritual. So it was a very beautiful experience for everybody involved, as far as I can tell.
I'm so happy it worked out. So I'm so sorry I missed it.
I've been involved in a couple, and they're always pretty damn cool.
But part of what I wanted to ask, I'm trying to find my question again because I actually had one.
I dated a girl that was Hellenistic, by the way.
Oh, that's interesting. Was she a Reconstructionist, or was she like Hellenistic Wiccan?
Hellenistic Wiccan.
Yeah, I've noticed that recons are pretty rare in the community. Like, we are like the rarer of the rare. People don't even know we exist.
That's how I like my steak, rare.
I would have to say, though, knowing me, if I ever was a polytheist, I think I'd be a recon, because I'm just
magic
so
underwear.
Into the history. Wait, are we talking about the Mormons?
Yeah, that's just someone said, or magic underwear. I said that's Mormonism. It's totally
that's Mormons. And I'm going to make an offer. If anyone can get me a set of magic underwear, I will sit and do an episode with it on.
That's awkward, Jen.
That's
hang on, I'm working on it.
Oh my God, Neil's gonna mail me a set, and I'm gonna have to do this now.
Fuck, they're not here. Shit, they're not here. Something else that wasn't in reach.
Thank you.
Hrothgar Zone says, Jen, talk to me.
What?
Jehovah.
Hrothgar Zone says, Jen,
what do you want me to talk to you about? What do you want to talk about? What's up? Let's talk.
I wonder if this person is ex-Mormon.
Oh my God. How did I not piece? Yeah, shit. I'll do it.
Oh, ex-Mormon, I can get you some. Yep, I was right.
Whoa, wait, that's my territory. What are you talking about?
What?
I'm the deconversion guy.
You sending me magical panties? Sending me magical panties is your that's your end? Really new.
I'll go with
hey, speaking of the deconversion guy, that was my question. So this was the question that was similar to the one that Jen asked you, which is, you have had some extremely controversial people on your platform. You've had deconversion and reconversion stories. You've cut flack from anti-theists and other folks within the community in various situations. How the hell do you manage to bring such a diverse crowd together, and yet somehow everything ever is not always on fire, and you're still friends with everybody?
He threatens them with the walking stick.
This one?
Yep, Neil threatens.
Look at Jim. I'll pay for this. Actually, speaking of my show, Jim was one of my favorite episodes of recent times. That
was a good after party.
He's such a fucking awesome dude. And I think we had a really good time.
Jen and Ocean must both be invited to my after party, just so you know. This is a requirement.
Okay, before you even think of that.
Because I'm Canadian. There you go.
Before you even think of being like Jen and Ocean are invited, I would implore you to watch my after party and see what happens when Jen and Ocean get together on an after party.
Okay, Jen, I've seen you guys get together on my server. You guys
had
a feud over New York.
Oh, good. You had a good time. It's good to know. It's always good to know.
Neil can definitely tell you my after party was one for the legends.
Oh, yes.
So apparently we have a question about how exactly you caught flack from people. There's been a lot of drama that people tried to get involved in.
Yes, and I don't get involved in that shit because it's not worth it. Why would I want to stress myself out over shit that doesn't fucking matter? That it just seems to matter to a small select group of people because they've got fucked up whatever, their brains aren't working properly or something. But anyway, I've had people on that are considered, and I've canceled shows with people that are like I was going to have Peter Boghossian on the show to talk about how he found his way out and to talk a little bit about street epistemology. And I saw a tweet that he did, saying that people that put their preferred pronouns in their bio, their opening bio, are angry and all and some other bullshit. And I was just like, you know what?
Yeah, cultish.
Like, fuck you, jackass. I happen to have family members that are part of marginalized communities, and I do it to show that it's normalized, or an attempt to normalize it, and an attempt to ally myself with these people that are having these issues in the community, that are being marginalized and being hated on and being whatever. Like I stand with them, and because they're human fucking beings, and it doesn't matter. So you really need to stop fucking behaving like that.
I have a rule in my Discord server. There's a certain set of required roles, and one of them is pronouns, because I don't want trans people to be singled out in my server for having them as a role, whereas other people may not. So I have a rule that everybody has to put pronouns in their tags. And some people have gotten mad, like, hey, I need to label myself. And it's like, well, you've got a bunch of different options there. You can put any pronoun if you don't want to label yourself. But the point is, we need to normalize this. This is an allyship space.
Yes.
What's the fucking on? Oh, but they'll be.
And I don't understand why it's a big deal. Like, who fucking cares? Right?
But if you refer to them as they, they know fucking pronouns. Then they know them. Then. If you're like, if you refer to a person who is against pronoun affiliation as they are quick.
Or she, because let's face it, most of them are him, most of them are cis men. But if you start referring to them as she the entire time, if you got a cis dude who's throwing a shit fit, suddenly all of a sudden they're very concerned about what pronouns you're using for them.
I've done that. Yeah. I've done that. I've come up against someone who was all about, pronouns and you should know, and I said, ma'am, I think you're mistaken. He lost his fucking mind, and he was like, I'm a he, blah blah blah. I was like, well, looking
put it in your bio.
looking at your profile picture there, I wasn't sure, so I went with what gender I thought you looked like, ma'am.
Oof. Right. Can I get a fire? Can I get a fire in the chat from the phalanx, because that's some crispy shit.
Yep. I was like, I just kind of went because I knew he was hyper masculine, and I was like, well, looking at some of the things you're into and the way you looked, you didn't provide your pronouns, so I assumed and went with what I thought the gender you were born with was.
I couldn't finish reading that. Was that Irish? Okay. Covered in more, yeah. People give me shit because I don't put these in long enough when I have them on in my show.
Yeah, a few people have been giving me shit for that too. I've been trying to do a little bit better. But we've got fire coming in from the phalanx and from a few new people. Hi, welcome, new people. I see a lot of new names in the chat tonight. A lot of the pagans are still hanging out in Ocean's server because UPG night. For those who don't know, by the way, UPG is unverified personal gnosis. It's basically personal experiences pagans have with deity. UPG night is a time in Ocean server where we come together and we talk about our personal experiences and try to either verify them with historical sources or see if we share them with people, or even just sit in a safe space and share these religious experiences we have, because many of us don't have access to a community. Oh, my chat is now completely on fire.
Mother Dragon is pleased. Mother Dragon is fed.
Leah Bryant, the redneck feminist, had a question for me. I have not seen your subreddit.
It is an anti.
I don't really go on Reddit, so
it's an anti-NIFB subreddit. Leah brings it up almost every stream.
I'm part of the group.
But apparently she's actually ex-NIFB herself, so she's been trying to fight the NIFB in comment sections and other things.
Keep that shit up, Leah.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, because those people are fucking
horrifyingly
horrifyingly
so you guys
horrible
see this
people.
cat over here?
Is that right?
The one that just popped up. Every time Neil's on the screen, Bagel comes to the screen.
Really?
And asks to be pet every time.
The cat's name is Bagel?
Bagel.
What's the other one? Cream cheese?
Bagel, Darcy, Mr. Noodles, and Fred.
Mr. Noodles.
So Blood, Sweat, and Steel, if you're asking about should the rest of us start doing pronouns in the bio, absolutely. Normalize it. Because even if you're cis, that then is going to help destigmatize it for trans people who add them to make sure that they don't get mistaken. Like that is a fantastic passive allyship thing you can do.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it normalizes it. It destigmatizes doing it.
I'm glad you found your way out of there, Leah. Actually, I've not had anyone who's an ex-NIFB on my show before. So
good night, Irish.
Good night.
If you're on Night Irish, if you're what's NIFB? A New International Fundamentalist Baptist. If you're up for it, I would love to have you on the show.
Hrothgar's Own actually has a really good point. It also pisses off bigots. If you add pronouns to your bio and get a bunch of unfollows, you'll know that you've purged the assholes from your Twitter feed.
So I actually didn't have pronouns in my bio because I didn't have the room for it. And then came across how much
I made room.
And then came across how much it pissed off bigots, and I made the fucking room. I was like,
yeah, I did the same.
Oh! I was like, oh, we're gonna piss off the bigots. Okay.
Realistically, the only two things I really needed in my bio was the blood donor thing and the atheist thing, or secular humanist, and then he, him, and
I was like, oh, we're gonna piss off the bigots. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, down for that.
I mean, Jen is currently on a crusade to set the entire community on fire, not just part of it, the entire community.
No, every community on fucking fire. I'm bored during COVID, so.
Which
Steven Anderson,
for those of you who he's in the angry intro for my pissed off polytheist series. He's one of the people in the rolling. Go watch one of my videos at the beginning in the pissed off polytheist playlist. Watch the opening crawl. Like he's one of the people that is in that. He's like the third or fourth person on like in the montage of assholes, as I call it.
I got a new book today, by the way. It came in the mail finally.
Which one?
Because I'd already listened to it on Audible. John W. Loftus's book, Why I Became an Atheist. Phenomenal.
I don't know if I can answer that question.
Oh, I can.
I don't think I can. Why because it's like, why did you become an atheist? Because the way that I experience things, and in my experience, the thought of gods or higher powers didn't feel applicable to me. Done.
That's right. Which
puts us on the same epistemological grounding, because like for me, I had a personal experience with deity that was so intense and also contained components that could not be explained by, having been exposed to the information. For example, I also got my health checked because like the experience was one that made me concerned about my physical and mental health after it happened. And I completely got a clean bill of health from everybody that I went to. So basically the experience led me from agnostic atheism back to theism, specifically to Hellenism, which my deconversion story is going to be really interesting and a bit wild, Neil, because I went from fundy Christian to like wanting to be a preacher to Wiccan to agnostic / atheist, like somewhere in between there, to Hellenism. So I went through a whole freaking roller coaster.
So it's good.
But like it's interesting because a lot of atheists have the epistemological grounding of there's no proof for gods, or I've never had experiences with them. And pagans have exactly the same grounding, and yet we're told that it's not reasonable for us. And I think that that's a really interesting distinction that not a lot of people think about.
So
that's quite true, actually.
I'm starting to learn I'm the weird atheist.
You are the weird atheist.
I am the weird atheist. But
wait, you're just figuring this out now?
But I come from the belief that we don't have anything solid to say that yes, gods exist. We don't have any solid evidence to say that no, they don't. So the belief in gods, or the non-belief in gods, is largely from personal experience. And atheists need to stop turning around and saying that's just your experience, it's just your brain doing shit, when their understanding of atheism is personal experience.
Because I mean, a lot of anti-theists, and again, we're referring specifically to anti-theists.
Yes,
we're not atheist bashing here.
Yeah, no.
You know, I'm going to keep grounding that because I'm specifically referring to the kind of people that would barge into a thread like that pagans are talking about their beliefs just to be like, you're wrong. You know, or would barge into a conversation to attack a pagan when we're talking about something totally different just because they saw pagan in our bio. That's happened to me before. But like, did things dip too low, Jen?
Yeah. So this is one of the shirts that went from when
I'm sorry, what is this too low you speak of?
This was one of the shirts that went from me being super, super skinny to a little bigger. And it fits nicely here, but it's sliding a bit here because of how I'm sitting, because of the chair. And I went to pull it over and pulled over and things dropped and sorry.
I must have been looking away because I wasn't drooling. So.
To give you guys an idea, I'm going to try to do this from memory because I went and tracked all the intros down. They are in some semblance of an order. There is Angelo Nacios, who was part of the YSCE, which I've already taken down as a focus group. That video is over on Cyrus's channel, and I'll be uploading a mirror to mine probably sometime next week or the week after. There's Base Southern Belle, who is a fundamentalist Greek polytheist also, who I have serious issues with. I'm going to be taking her down at some point. One of them is E.A. Ketting, who takes advantage of pagans and things and claims that he's a guru who can get you a special in with Baal and other Canaanite deities, and I'm going to be taking him down. We call him Dullister Crowley in my server. And my friend Chrissy H and I are going to be doing a takedown of his channel pretty soon. There's like the NIFB pastor that we brought up earlier. He's in there as well. Call for an Uprising is in there, and I'm trying to remember who the other person. There's one other person in there that I put in there, but there's like 7 or 8 creators in there that all drive me fucking crazy that I do not like. That I'm planning on going after at some point or another. That's just like a scroll of these in our community
because you're not an inflammatory piece of shit.
Oh, well,
I love Shannon.
I like what Jim said, by the way, in the chat.
Yes, you can disagree with someone's interpretation of their personal experience, but not the experience itself. It also doesn't invalidate somebody's personal experience. I've been on call-in shows where we've discussed someone's personal experience, and while I will offer alternatives as to why this may happen, good night, JT. I may offer alternatives as to why this would have happened because this is what these people are calling to discuss. This isn't like I'm finding people in fucking servers and Twitter and being like, no, fuck your personal experience. I'll offer, thank you. I don't know what JT is talking about. I've been promoted.
Thank you all and everybody else. What? Also, congrats, Jen, Neil. You have been.
Because you didn't name you specifically. Like it was thank you, Allie, and everybody else. So you guys are everybody else. Apparently.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Thank you. No, like, and these were people.
Have a good one, JT.
These were people that were calling in to discuss their personal experience and wanted to discuss alternative theories on it. However, no, atheists will sit there. You are a fucking atheist because you looked at faith and in your personal experience, in your personal interpretation, decided for yourself that this did not make sense. So don't fucking sit here and then discredit someone else's personal experience because they have faith. Yes, you can sit and discuss what their experiences was all fucking day long, but don't fucking sit here like you're fucking higher.
Yay, Jose!
Like, don't fucking sit here because you think your personal experience in figuring out the God question makes you fucking superior. Fuck you. We're both relying on the basis of personal fucking experience. And what is everything?
I got my wizard stick with me.
And what is everything in life but how you the experience?
Oh, here comes the rest of the phalanx and the server. Hi guys.
I'm off my fucking high horse about it now.
You go.
But it just pisses me off because it's like, well, my experience. And if you ever fucking sit and argue with an anti-theist, they're like, well, my experience. Yes, everything you fucking experience is an interpretation on your fucking experience. So don't fucking sit here and be like, your experience isn't fucking valid. Fuck you. Fuck you. If you as an atheist and your feelings are fucking valid and your experience is fucking valid, then you need to grant the fucking same to the person that you're sitting there discussing this with. If not, unless there is hey, my experience is vaccines don't work. Hey, we have it on fucking paper that they do. Fuck off. I'm not talking about experiences like that. I'm talking about experiences that have yet to be proven or fucking discredited. I can't fucking stand when anti-theists do this shit. They're like, well, your experience is invalid. And yours fucking is, you fucking dickless wonder. Shut the fuck up and stop being a dishonest fucking person. Fuck.
And Callan, you're back. I was singing your praises earlier. FYI, these guys are witnesses, by the way.
All I can say is, how the fuck do you two fucking fuckers fuck? We went from 30 to
fuck,
44.
it's COVID. I don't. That's the fucking problem.
That's
COVID.
That is a record for the most that
goddamn
you have dropped
fucking COVIDiots too
in one round. Holy crap!
I'm laughing at Ocean's comment.
Ocean be calling you out.
That's beautiful. Hey, should we bring him in here for the final few minutes?
I mean,
no, I don't want to look at Ocean right now. I have to look at him Friday.
Why?
I don't want to because I have to look at him Friday for an hour and a half.
You don't actually have to look at him. You can avert.
I do. I have to do an interview with him Friday.
You finally got him to commit to something.
So,
but yeah, Ocean reminder. By the way.
So Heracles, funny story that the whole fundamentalist Greek polytheist. This person is a fundamentalist, like conservative, who runs a newspaper for other fundy polytheists, like Focus times 10.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, Friday.
Thanks for the reminder.
I'm gonna be over on Jen's channel on Wednesday because I was supposed to be there last Friday and Jen got sick again because she just keeps getting sick.
No, it wasn't me getting sick. I went through this 2-week period of I'll sleep decently for one day and then I'll be in bed and then right as your body's like drifting off, I wake up again. And this would go on for like 2-3 days, and then my body would be overexhausted, and then happen again. And then the pillows I was using, fundy polytheist.
Exactly.
I have a bulging disc in my neck, and the pillows that I was using was kind of losing its firmness. So it was when it does swell, I actually get numb, like all through my jaw, all up through the side, like this whole side of my face will go numb when it's starting to kind of freak out.
That's why I bought this damn pillow.
I know. I'm getting them.
$160 it cost me, and I've had it for over 12 years.
I found the pillow that you have, and I'm actually getting it next week. But
really?
Yeah, I found it, and so that was kind of pinging.
I cut the tag off.
Yeah. No, I know which one it is.
No.
It's a Tempur-Pedic.
No.
No, you have a different one.
Yeah.
So like Hindu nationalism, as far as that goes, is less a religious movement, I think, and more of a fundamentalist, like nationalist movement that is trying to co-opt Hinduism for its own aim. Because from my understanding, most branches of Hinduism, I know there's a lot of them, seem to be very pluralistic in the sense that they're very accepting of other faiths. Whereas like this fundy nationalism type stuff going on seems to be trying to co-opt Hinduism as part of national identity. Like, tell me if I'm wrong there, because you probably know more than I do.
Me?
But, no, I was talking to the person in the chat.
I'm laughing at what Jim said.
Yeah,
if you have something bulging in your neck, someone needs better aim.
Or they're just right.
Ooh.
Or they're just right.
So as far as fundamental polytheism goes, what I mean by that is that, so we have a problem with folkism, which Ocean and I are working on a collaborative that's going to be coming out sometime in the next couple of weeks on what folkism is and why it's a whole ass problem in our communities. But, when we talk about the pimples on atheism's ass, e.g. the anti-theists, like the vicious ones, we've got a couple on ours too.
We're not going to sit here and say that you're,
we're not sunshine and rainbows either. We have people who like to ethnically privilege.
Bad apples in every group.
Right.
Okay, so remember that.
Yeah, we have people who like to ethnically privilege their genetics. Like Ocean and I made the joke a while back that focus are people who think their 23andMe determines what gods they can worship and how close they can get to those gods.
Like 23andMe.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh shit.
So if they do the Genome Project and they go as far back as
pay for the
Africa,
good one. Don't do the 23.
is there a limit? Is there a limit on the DNA? Like, do they only go back to their whiteness, or do they go back further into
you can get
East
DNA
African?
tests? You can get DNA tests that'll go way back.
I know. I'm
if
part
you
of the
paid
Genome
100
Project.
and something.
I'm part of the Genome Project. I literally have the DNA test that starts with my maternal line going from Africa through the Mideast, through the Caucasus region, and then over to Europe. But is there a limit with these people? Like, they only go as far back as white in order to determine what gods they worship?
I mean, honestly, like most of the ones that are very obsessed with the DNA tests have a tendency to be within certain traditions. And I know that certain creators within our community are actually going to be going into the focused traditions that tend to go after their own faiths. Like I'm going to be talking about the YSEE and Labris a bit and talk about the kind of ways that they privilege ethnic Greek. And like Ocean is going to be going after a few of the groups within his faith as well that privilege ethnicity. But a lot of the time, the substitution seems to be that because there isn't a living, because there isn't like a living cultural tradition left for this religion, race is now a substitution for that in terms of privileging. Because like
there's one fucking race, the human race, and just like every other species on the planet, we come in a variety.
It's like Ocean said, race is a social construct. It is not. It is not a biological construct in the sense that we are separated biologically by race. We are separated socially by race. And race came up when people were starting to, settle in and not be, the wandering people, and wanted to fucking control people and wanted to be better than people and wanted more lands and wanted more crops. So they had to figure out a way to turn around and tell their society, these people are worse than us. What better way? Right. What better way than to look at somebody and instantly know that they're bad? This way you don't have to sit there and fucking care about them. Than race.
And sorry, Aliakai, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sorry.
Oh, no, there's no problem. Like, if I was upset, you know that I am, like, completely outspoken, right? Like,
you tell us both to shut the fuck up. And
half my hair would be on fire by now. I realize that.
Yes, Dianic Wiccans, Leia. They're very anti-trans, a lot of them.
Yes. And, have been, like, forever.
And I don't get that at all.
Yeah, and like that's a good point. Race has a cultural relevance. It does not have a biological prescriptive boundaries. Right. And as Ocean and I have discussed many times, we're going to talk about this in both of our videos because we're going to be dual releasing at some point fairly soon, two of them back to back. Ocean's going to be talking about the definition, and I'm going to be talking about like the excuses that a lot of them make, because a lot of folkists in particular like to talk about the way that Native American tribes like to protect our religions. And so I'm going to talk about how like ethnic privileging in a Reconstructionist religion is radically different than cultural protectionism for a living culture, right? And what those differences are.
When you're on, Aliakai, we are going to talk a lot about the coastal
and food for thought.
Haida, Saanich, all that. Like, we're going to talk a lot about that stuff because that's some of my favorite fucking shit ever.
Well, and I only know as much as I was taught when I was a kid, because like I had my great grandma and my great aunt and my grandma and my like one of my aunts. They taught me a lot of things, but there was a lot of shame in my family. Like we can't ever register with my tribe, and I told you about that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So, because like my great grandma, like my great grandfather's brother and sister were lynched over a land dispute with a church.
Oh, fuck off! Really?
So we got pulled off the tribal rolls by my great grandfather who was trying to protect us.
Reason to fucking firebomb churches. No, I'm kidding. I'm not.
So,
saying
no,
fire.
yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that.
Okay,
later.
in Minecraft, and that's also a joke.
In Minecraft. Food for thought, though. If we hadn't turned race into a social construct, we wouldn't have to have this argument about protecting culturalism and protecting our culture and then being accused of being fucking purists for it. Just fucking food.
Well, and Philippe actually brings up a really good point. This is something that Ocean and I have talked about. When you start to talk about the idea that race somehow affects the relationship that you can have with the gods.
What?
Like when you start talking about race somehow being able to affect your relationship with the gods, you're basically limiting the power of the gods.
Wait, what?
Like, where in the fuck does that make any actual fucking sense? Oh,
ask the folkists.
No, I can't ask a folkish shit because I'll punch him in the fucking throat. Like, I can't. No, fuck that. I ain't asking a fucking folkish shit. But
throat punch.
Like, I'm sure, like, okay, so when I did the Genome Project shit, right? I'm white as fuck. I mean, well, granted, this is not natural blonde hair, still. I'm white as fuck. The Genome Project came up, and come to find out, there is significant Iranian, Azerbaijani, Caucasus Mountain region DNA in me. So the DNA in me is not white as fuck. There is also some my family down south were sharecroppers. There was a woman who would not name the father of her children. However, when you looked at these children, it was very, very obvious that these children were mixed. And my grandmother's maiden name, in fact, should not be her maiden name. When you look at
interesting way I've seen basically spelled ever.
Huh? Oh, I love that. But if you are going to sit here and be like, you can only be this race to practice this religion, I want to see that motherfucker's family tree. I want to see that motherfucker's DNA. I want to see that shit.
You know what's interesting about that on top of it? You have some that'll try to turn it into, well, if you're from the continent of Europe and that's where most of your DNA is from, you can do that. But the moment you get, like, you got the one drop rule shit going on, the moment you get a drop, like I as a half-breed would not be allowed to. I would be told that I have to worship the Haida gods and I'm not allowed to worship anything in Europe. But there's also the more subtle folkists. And those ones say that only people who are from, that area genetically can get close to the gods, which I have a whole ass problem with. And then you have even more subtle forms of folkism, which the YSEE perpetuates, which is that the idea that, like, ethnic Greeks, because they still exist, even though, like, the worship of the gods was basically banned for many, many centuries, should be allowed to determine who has, quote-unquote, Hellenized, and also determine what Hellenization is and what Hellenic religion is and who gets to call themselves a Hellenist.
Can we highlight what Hercules said real quick?
Hercules.
Sorry.
Hercules.
So here's another thing that fucking Greek fucking folkists don't like fucking understanding. Where do they think their fucking ancestors came from? Their ancestors traveled from the Mideast and the Caucasus fucking region into Greece and then continued on to fucking Europe. So
Caucasus region.
The Caucasus Mountains, the states Caucasus.
Yeah, but that was way later. That everything came out of Africa.
No, yeah. What I'm saying is they came up from Africa. They hit the Middle East.
Moved around.
Right. And this is how it explains to me with the Genome Project. You hit the Middle East, you had some groups that went east, some groups that went west.
Some went west. Yeah.
My family went east and settled Azerbaijan, Iranian. What they're finding is a lot of the DNA that's coming from Greece, a lot of the DNA that's coming from Italy actually originated from these tribes, not the tribes that went west into Europe, but the tribes that went east more so through the Mideast, through the fucking sea, and circled back. Mainly the Hunnic tribes. So they have all this fucking racism going on. Like, they're so fucking pure and shit. Y'all hating what the fuck is in your blood. Literally, the DNA in your fucking blood.
Philip said race purity is a myth. Exactly, Philippe.
Well, and that's a good thing. And again, like the YSE doesn't tend to be like racial purity. They tend to say ethnic Greek, as in people who grew up from Greece or have ethnic origins back to Greece within a generation or two. And those are the people that get to decide what Hellenismos is. And they make the kind of arguments. Wait a minute, Jen, let me finish. They make the kind of arguments that Republicans like to make about so-called integration. Basically, in order to practice Hellenismos, you must give up all aspects of yourself to this idea of what a Hellenist is, what Hellenizing is, to fully integrate into Greek culture. Otherwise, don't call yourself a Hellenist. So I have gotten shit, for example, for not being a Neoplatonist within my own community.
Really?
So wait. There are American focused that think like this.
Yes, I've met a few.
Do they really? All right.
Sure.
Oh, goddamn. All right, now here we go. Now, nah. Let me tell y'all fucking something.
Hang on, I gotta put on some fire retardant clothing.
So I'm not Greek, I'm Italian. I'm third generation here.
I have Italian in me.
When my family came here, and like many other families, especially Greek families, because Greeks and Italians kind of left around the same time. When they came here, there was a lot of sanitization of Italian culture, of Greek culture, and it very much became American culture. So this Greek culture bullshit, bitch, this ain't fucking Greek culture, it's Greek American. And therefore it ain't the fucking thing. Like, what in the fuck? Just because you're sitting eating Greek traditional foods on fucking Sundays doesn't mean that you're, I'm all of a sudden fucking straight up Greek fucking ethnic. Eat my fucking asshole, like my entire fucking asshole. You're Greek American and your culture is American.
I need another fan.
Jen is popping the fuck off tonight.
I'm fucking done with humanity.
I love it.
Like,
I gotta go to the washroom for a minute. No, I'm kidding.
it turns me on. That's why I do it. It turns me on. I do it. But yeah, it's like
I
you're
dumped
gonna
this
sit
water
here,
on me, but it's not cold anymore.
You're gonna sit here in the fucking US and be like, I'm fucking ethnically like I'm culturally Greek. What? Bitch, that's like saying I live in fucking Athens because Nashville has a fucking recreation of the goddamn Parthenon. Shut the fuck up. Literally eat the inside of my asshole with this bullshit. Shut the fuck up, you LARPing piece of shit. Fuck you.
LARPing. Hey, don't knock LARPing. I did that a couple times.
Wow, that's we're up to 87.
Cassandra,
this is the highest we've ever gotten.
Cassandra,
I'm
I am
sure
not
it's
okay.
over
I'm
100 by now
gonna start some
myself.
beef
So
with
who said
Cassandra, and it ain't personal.
So
I'm
who was
not
the
from
one
Long
who
Island.
like said that they would donate $100 to a stream somehow if we hit 100 naturally? Because it looks like we're getting there tonight.
Cassandra, beef but no beef. I'm not from Long Island. I'm from Queens. I'm from the actual city. And for anyone that knows anything about people from New York City, when you turn around and tell them they're from Long Island, it's like, no. Like, no. I'm from Queens, which is right next to it, but a little different.
By the way, for those of you who have been here from the beginning, I forgot to add something new that's going on. I had just started a Patreon a couple of days ago, and I added it to the description. This is the very first video that I'm adding it to the description. I'll be doing a Patreon card at the end of my next edited video. By the way, hi, Chris. Chrissy.
I just became a patron of Jen, actually.
You did. Thank you. And then he asked if that was the nudes tier.
But I just started a Patreon in part because if you guys have watched my edited content before, for those of you who aren't new, being a Hellenist is expensive. Being a Reconstructionist is expensive. I have vented in my Discord about how some of the books that I need for the research for videos people have requested is upwards of $300 per book because they are scholarly books that were on limited print runs and often were high priced to begin with. Like one of them is a symposium that happened in the 90s that was only printed once and was only handed out there.
Sorry, we're laughing at Jim.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not laughing at you, baby. I'm sorry.
So if you guys are interested in helping me out with being able to get those things, my patrons that have already signed up for my Discord server, because that's the first place I announced it, have already covered my expenses for this month because of their incredible generosity. And I'm already hitting my third stretch goal, which I'm completely blown away by. But if I can get closer to some of the later stretch goals, then I'll actually be able to afford to save up and get a few more of these books that are so hard to get, and do some of the more specialized topics like reciprocity, prayer structure, and what it means. I actually just got a book recently on ancient Greek theology outside of Plato and what we can learn from the poets, and like an anthropological approach of deconstructing ritual. So for people who are geeks for mythology, or if you're curious about history, like my video that's coming up on Thursday was picked by my patrons, and it's about the Athenian New Year and the 7 festivals that lead up to it and how they were practiced, and how a modern practitioner can themselves celebrate it without an entire city to sacrifice 100 oxen with them.
You said anthropology, you know I'm fucking there. I'm like,
yeah, anthropology, archaeology, and linguistics. Like, I'm actually studying classical Greek, so I can read Homer and Hesiod in the original language. I'm about 11 lessons into the book that I've picked up.
you do?
Mm-hmm. I lived in Israel for a couple of years. So.
I know New Yorkese.
So for anybody
So
who
right.
is like, nobody should feel pressure to contribute, but if you guys are interested in contributing for the higher tiers, for the $10 and $20 per video, I do it per video. There's a link in the description. If you don't see it, refresh the page. It will be there. But there's the $10 and $20 patrons get a drawing out of a hat, and once a month I negotiate a not charged for bonus Patreon video that's going to go up on Patreon for a week before I publish it for the rest of the folks on the channel on a topic that we can negotiate together. I reserve the right to say that I don't feel like I can cover the topic thoroughly, or that I need some more time to get resources, but I am more than willing to, if you get drawn, negotiate with you a topic that will work really well, that will be great for a Patreon video, and patrons will get it for an entire week before it goes up on the channel. And that will not be a charged video. I only charge for a week. Hey, Wolf, welcome. Wolf actually co-hosted that ritual with me earlier in solidarity.
I feel so bad. Wolf is trying to get me to move further down south by enticing me with nights in backyard with mead and wine and alcohol.
Nights in backyard. Sorry.
And he's very convincing. he's extremely convincing.
So again, like that's a quick plug because I just started the thing, but if you want to end up on the Patreon card, I'm going to be doing video editing tomorrow. You need to sign up by like tomorrow afternoon, say around 3 to 4 PST, because that's when I'm going to be doing video editing for that, and I'm going to be setting up the Patreon card then. So if you guys are interested in that and in helping support the costs for my editing and stuff like that, like I said, shockingly, but my patrons are incredibly generous so far. I actually have the monthly cost for Premiere Pro and for several of the subscriptions I use for like getting access to scholarly journals covered from this month from the people that have already signed up. If I get a few more people, I'm going to be able to track down some of these more expensive books, and I'll be able to do more polls on rarer and harder to find topics that you can't find elsewhere on YouTube or get access to without having access to these expensive scholarly resources. So I'm really trying to bring good content out there. If you guys want to help out, I'd be incredibly grateful for doing so. Plus, if you're in my Discord, you get access to a patron-only area where I hang out pretty often. So,
this Discord is like,
I've been told that my Discord is one of the most welcoming spaces.
That shit is popping though.
I don't know about my Discord. I'm never on the fucking thing.
In the Xenia Bridge Discord, it's like you gotta wonder if I'm drunk most of the time I'm in there. I mean, it makes for fun times.
So anyhow, sorry for the plug there. It was just I remembered that it was something.
Why are you sorry?
Why are you sorry? Stop.
Because I rambled off into to oblivion.
Oh fucking what? Hello.
Don't worry, we're used to it.
You know what the solo show with just me and you was gonna be like? Like, I don't even think we need to pick a topic. We'll just fucking talk about shit that comes up.
Like what happens anytime you come into the Discord?
Every fucking time. 91. We're getting there, bitches. But fucking
No,
it.
I think you're over 100 by now myself, but.
Yeah, we had somebody who said, over 100, So we'll see what happens.
So
but we might hit there with this one.
I want my fucking money.
Well, I'm not even monetized on this channel.
I have a fucking PayPal.
Like I'm not even quite at 600 subscribers yet, but I've been working on it. I am going to be coming out with a lot more Hellenist content soon, though. This video that's going to be coming out on Thursday is going to be the very first in my Common Hellenism series, which will be talking in depth about historical things like festivals. I'm going to be doing one on the structure of Greek prayer. I'm going to be doing one on Homer and Hesiod and like the theology that comes out of that. I have another one that's going to be coming up on miasma, which is the Greek concept of pollution and purification and like how that was important. And eventually, if I can get enough funds raised, I'm going to be doing one on Greek reciprocity and sacrifice and ritual and what that stuff meant. Because there's a whole collection I'm trying to track down that specifically deals with that from a scholarly perspective.
I need a gummy bear.
Neil! Again?
What?
Every fucking time you near me, is it me?
No. I do these.
Is it me that you gotta fucking? This is how you gotta fucking deal with me. I think we hit it. I think we hit the F.
So since we're kind of getting to the shill portion of the discussion, do you guys have anything exciting going on? Obviously, Jen, you mentioned you've got me on Wednesday and Ocean on Friday.
I'm gonna be releasing a video on Trump and the school system and COVID and the followers, and I believe I'm titling it "We're Living in the Hunger Games," and that should be out hopefully sometime tomorrow. Yay! Wednesday I've got Aliakai to come on and talk about allyship, and
specifically about this show,
specifically about this fucking show, right? Friday, I have Ocean on to talk about latent Christianity and latent indoctrination. And then next Friday, I have Dr. Daryl Ray coming on to talk about how you can work through some more of that latent indoctrination and not be such a fucking cunt bag piece of shit and learn how to deal with people as an atheist and not act like your former religion.
You got to put in a good word for me because I'd love to have Daryl Ray on my show.
I love it. Daryl, I'm going to warn you guys, when I have Daryl Ray on, we're going to talk about sex. Like it's
let's talk about sex, baby.
But like that's Daryl also educates on sex education as well as I'm more localized and centralized to the BDSM community and education on that, but we're
Blood,
both extremely sex positive.
Blood, both of the links to both of their channels are in the description. Jen's channel is the Atheist Wind Down. Her Twitter is also in the description.
But yeah, me and Daryl are very sex positive, and we each do a lot of sex education. So please expect that to go off the rails a little bit next Friday. Tim, you know why I've been talking? It's funny. You guys can tell when I'm getting laid when I don't talk about it. Like when I'm not talking about sex, I'm getting laid.
Oh.
That's the easiest. It's like, oh, Jen's fucking someone. Okay.
By the way, we are going to be doing an after party in the Discord. Discord link is also in the description.
I'm going to be a little late for that one because that video that I just talked about is getting recorded right after
this. Someone's going to clip that out.
As per always, like guests don't have to show up, but you are invited. Link is in the description below if you guys want to join. We have a special after party VC. If you are new, make sure you read the rules before you join the after party.
Neil, what you got going on? Who you got coming on?
Actually, I managed to wrangle a couple of people I've been trying to get on for some time now.
Like who?
I mean, I've got lots of people that, you know me, I have everyone on the show. It doesn't matter if you're a known atheist, you've got a channel. It doesn't matter. I just want to hear. I think these stories are important to hear. So, well, I've got DJ Hammurabi, Digital Hammurabi. Dr. John.
Dr. Josh is amazing.
But you guys do know that he just lost a child.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So if he wants to reschedule, I'll work on that with him.
Absolutely, right.
Mind you, I don't have him scheduled till August 12th. So that's a little bit of the, I don't know if that will be enough time or not because I've never lost a
Everybody,
child, right?
everybody. I've
Is
had four.
different.
I've had 4 miscarriages, and each one was different. So,
I also managed to get this wonderful lady named Ashley, who is also known as Aliakai, scheduled for August 19th at 4 p.m. But
4 PST, by the way.
Pacific Standard
yeah,
Time.
like I'm shoving the kid into a closet for
The
that
preaching humanist, David Oliviero, is going to be on the show
When?
August 31st.
I'm going to be there.
Also
for
for PST, and we've had actually a couple of really good conversations through Facebook chat.
I love David.
No Illusions is coming on the show.
When? Because I'm going to fucking be there. When?
Saturday, September 12th at 6 p.m.
Oh, I'm so fucking there.
I also have a lady that's coming in. Her name is Ito Otini.
Okay.
And she's going to be speaking on behalf of her entire family who found their way out of a belief system pretty much at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So this is going to be a really interesting story, I believe.
Wow.
And if you guys are familiar with the channel In Time, I have Nick Suter on as well on September 9th.
I'm coming for Noah because I didn't get to see Noah this year for the Ark Encounter. So that's how I'm going to be.
Oh, he is Noah, and he... Like I messaged him, probably 2 years ago, and it just sat there in the messages. And he had seen it, but he goes, dude, I completely forgot about that. I'm so sorry. And I've heard good things about the show, so I'm down. I'm down to coming on. And this one is going to be just basically a hilarity fest. Because you know how Noah is and how I am. Like the two of us together, it's just going to be
the laid backness is going to be fucking amazing.
Right. So there's some decent shows to look forward to, and of course I've got many other people on in the time. I'm on a hiatus right now. I'm doing my mid-season break.
Yeah, I know you have your mid-season break now, so you're.
Yeah, that's basically the only reason I could get you on the show.
Right. Normally I do my show tonight, right? So I'll be back August 1st.
August 1st.
And that's when shit will kick into gear again. There should be some really, really good shows coming up.
Allie, what you got coming up?
So next week, first off this week, on Thursday, I'm going to be doing a video on the Athenian New Year, specifically the festivals leading up to it, which is everything from Skira to Panathenaia, also known as Panathenia for people who don't know how to pronounce Greek, which was the biggest festival in Athens. There was an equivalent to the Olympic Games and a gigantic procession of literally everybody who lived in the city, and the largest feast of the entire year was done after the threshing festivals and other things. But the preparations started 2 months ahead of time in the lunar month of Targelion with cleansing and things in the temple. So I talk about all of that in detail and how all of these festivals related to each other and how they folded into civic life. So that's the thing that I've got coming up on Thursday. And on Monday, Jen and I are going to be doing a solo stream here on Xenia Bridge to kind of talk about things in the community and to just kind of chill out a little bit, because Jen indicated that she wanted to have a conversation just between the two of us about the show and about like the sort of work that we're doing
I
here.
just thought it would be fun for people to watch what happens behind the scenes when you and I just talk.
Wow.
Yeah, because we're friends who just we just shoot the shit. We speak each other's language. We are very ADHD. It's going to be a chaotic show, but it'll be a lot of fun for us to just chill together as co-hosts.
We don't even give a fuck. It makes sense to us, so y'all are just going to have to fucking deal with it.
Also, thank you, Leia, for becoming a patron. That's very kind of you.
Neil has a hand raised.
What's up, Neil?
Actually, I want to address Leia. I think Leia's story would be really, really cool to have on the show. So, Leia, if you're on Twitter, you can find me at 604 Atheist. Or if you're on Facebook, it's Neil Bernstein. You can't miss I've got the green background with the spinning logo in it. You can't miss it. So find me there. And if you're willing to come on the show and share your stories with us, I'd be very pleased.
You know, Neil, every time I look at your last name, I think about the Berenstain Bears issue.
I know. I get that a lot, and it's not even remotely close to being spelled that way.
So that's the stuff that I've got going on for right now. I don't have any major appearances that I can think of apart from going out on Neil's show on the 19th of August.
Really? No major ones coming out.
I already mentioned you like 3 times, Jen, didn't I? I'm going to be over on Jen's channel for the 3rd time on
Where's
Wednesday.
my popcorn?
At the same time as tonight, if I recall correctly. So at about 10:30 EST. We're going to be talking about this show and the allyship work and the crap that Jen has gotten from the atheist community for doing it, because Jen said that she wanted to be a sounding board.
The child. We almost had a stream without the tiny human.
Oh, the tiny human. Hi, tiny human.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So Jen and I were going to be talking about some of the... Mom, you ever got the...
Cassandra, I'd be happy to have you on.
Well, it happened at the end.
Rogar's own, or Rosgar's own? I guess that's how you pronounce it. All right. I would be happy to have you on as well.
Yeah, Neil will have literally anybody on. Just hit him up. He is one of the chillest people you'll ever meet, and his after parties are chill too.
Hebrew is better than Greek. Actually, no, I'm not fluent.
No, he's boy dragon. In my house, he dubbed himself boy dragon and calls the cats baby dragons, and my son will actually refer to me as mother dragon. No.
I mean, your avatar has dragon wings on the Xenia Bridge logo.
He actually says that's mother dragon and refers to himself as boy dragon. Yeah, I know.
Ocean Kelto with the self-deprecation.
Fuck you, Ocean. You were one of the better shows. So you just quiet.
I mean, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel with this motherfucker Friday.
He's one of my favorite people.
As a pansexual, Ocean. Truth.
Yeah.
So
I'll take anyone. Yeah.
Thank you guys again so much for coming. Like, thank you, Neil. Again, you were one of the first
pleasure.
people who actually volunteered to come on the show, and I was so excited to have you
because I'm all about this shit. That's why.
Yeah, you are. You are one of the most outspoken allies in the community, and it was amazing to have you here. Like your show, very much like mine, is a space where anybody is welcome, and that's an amazing thing because it's really hard to craft a space like that.
I've come down to now that I'll actually have theists on as well, like normal. I don't know why I said the word normal, but I mean regular, everyday theists, that kind of thing, like the Christian, the Jews. The Islam,
I'm going to apologize.
The non-paganistic, yeah. Like, but the ones that I'll have on, like my friend Joe Hankel, I'll have him on because he's not a fundamentalist whack job.
He's not a chick woman.
Right. He's for LGBTQ rights and stuff like that. So those are the kinds that I would definitely have on for sure. And I'm going to approach Joe and say, dude, I'd love to have you on just to talk about you. What convinced you of your beliefs? And let's talk. Let's do it. Why not?
Oh my God, I love you.
Well, and I do have one other announcement. On the 24th, on this Friday, I forgot. I'm actually going to be going on Nevermore Tavern to chat with Jay about what brought me to my beliefs and why I justify them.
What time are you doing that?
Thanks, Dr. Dino.
Let me check in my DMs really quick. I'm pretty sure it's in the early afternoon.
I was going to say, I hate releasing things at the same time as you.
Ocean's my brother. Neil's a human cup of tea.
You are you're like a human cup of tea on a rainy day. That's exactly what you're like. You are like a human cup of tea on a rainy day. Holy shit, Ocean, that was perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Because of his calming presence.
It's just
you know what? I hate hostility. I hate
8 p.m.
like
8 p.m. Eastern Standard. So it'll be at least 3 hours ahead of when you usually do your stream.
I do mine at 9:30 Central Time.
9:30 Central is 10:30 Eastern. So we'll probably be wrapping up by the time your stream starts.
Okay.
Because it'll be 8 p.m. Eastern. So the most that it'll go into yours would be at least like a half an hour.
Okay, cool.
Because Jay tends to go an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I'm going to be going on Nevermore Tavern. If you guys want to hear about like my personal experiences and how I justify my beliefs, that would be
Jay's
what I'm going to be doing. And Jay's good people. Like we talked quite a bit.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Jay's good people.
All right.
He fucker hasn't had me on yet.
Or me. That shit.
Let's go on together and destroy.
Yes, just fuck them. Neil, weren't you just on? Speaking of shit, we were supposed to do together. Weren't
I
you
was
just
on
on
Utah
Outcast? Yeah, we've
Yes,
got to
yeah.
coordinate you and I doing that at the same fucking time.
I know,
that
right?
Show is a goddamn
That's what
blast
X said
to do.
too.
That shit is a goddamn blast for you. Oh my god. Yeah, and let me know how much you paid for them. I will send you the money back for that, plus the shipping. And I may not do an interview, but I will definitely do a pre-recorded show in magical Mormon panties for my audience.
Dr. Dino, the feeling's mutual.
Oh, Dr. Dino, we love you too. 109, motherfuckers. 110.
All right,
Because I
guys. So
don't
we're
like
finishing
odd
out with
numbers.
100. We're finishing out with 110 for the night.
I think
I
it's
don't like odd
higher.
numbers.
But,
I don't
yeah.
like
So
odd
we're gonna
numbers.
head out. It'll be a few minutes before we hop into the Discord for the after show.
Yeah,
But
I'm
if you
gonna be
guys want to chill in the after
Odd
party,
numbers.
we are going to do, for those of you who are Discord natives, we're going to be doing hand raise systems. If I've got any mods in the chat, please help me keep order. I have a feeling there's going to be a few people waiting. Thanks again so much for you guys hanging out with us. Thank you especially to my patrons for having supported me. Like, you guys are freaking amazing. I just started it 3 or 4 days ago, and already, I'm blown away by your guys' generosity. So thank you guys again so much. And thank you for the umpteenth time, Neil, for being fucking awesome.
Hold on, Neil's got, of course, the one more thing.
One
to say,
quick
Neil.
thing. Well, because I just noticed it. Anna in the chat. Neil is one of his gummies given human form. You should see, because literally IQ made a gummy meme of me with a gummy bear with my bandana and hair all to the side. It's fucking hysterical.
I need that. You send that to me.
I'll send that to you. I'll
I
send
need
that
that
to
in
you.
my life. Absolutely.
It's too fucking hilarious.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Thank you so much for
Thanks for
joining us.
hanging with us, you guys.
And we will be in the after show sometime in the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go smoke a half doobie and a couple of